So, you decided to pick up Forsaken, and you stumbled across this exotic archive. In here, you found some new exotics, but you don't know which ones to get first. Well, I'm going to try to help you out a little bit. First thing you should know is these 3 weapons over at the right are going to require spoils of conquest, and a lot of them. This one's not a weapon, this is a sparrow. How you get the spoils of conquest is currently by playing the Vault of Glass raid, which is free to all players, but you've already purchased Forsaken, so you're not a free player anymore. Ever since Anarchy came out, it's been an insane weapon, and it's probably still going to be a really good weapon coming into the future, but Bungie has recently announced that they are going to change something about it to make it so it's not good at everything. So while I normally would recommend that you probably try to get those spoils of conquests, you might not want to spend it on Anarchy right now. But keep an eye on it. You might want to get Anarchy in the future eventually. I'll try to split the rest of these up based on if you are someone who plays a lot of PvP in Crucible, or if you are mostly a PvE gamer doing raids, strikes, etc. We'll start with PvP really quick. Honestly, it's gonna mostly be Ace of Spades, Last Word, Thorn, and honestly, Monarque is really insane in Crucible, but you kinda gotta be a bow player, and honestly, I'd recommend being a hunter with the Oathkeeper exotics on to get the perfect pull every time. I mean, Jotun's good in PvP as well, but it's pretty easy for people to play around it if they're thinking about it. And Izinagi is actually really cool to use in PvP because you can honed edge, consume your bullets, and just one-shot body shot people with it, which is pretty fun. And Truth has grenades and horseshoes, which makes the rocket detonate when it's just even kind of close to somebody, which is good. But for the most part, it's not very meta. The main meta thing is going to be Thorn. Last Word is really good, especially if you're using a controller. And Ace of Spades is just all around a great weapon. For a PvE player, I'd probably say first thing you gotta get is Izinagi's Burden. It's a really awesome sniper. Consuming your special ammo to make one powerful shot to crit champions and high health targets, it just feels really good. Super awesome weapon. Lumina is honestly also really fun in PvE. It's actually pretty good. Most people aren't choosing it in extreme content, but honestly, it's quite good, especially if you're in situations where you have to be moving from room to room or space to space, and you're not just camping around in a zone. Lumina is great for giving you and your teammates a buff with its Blessing of Sky rounds, the noble rounds, that is. But what would I choose if I had to go back and re-earn everything? Which order would I choose as somebody who plays tons of PvE, and I also play a good amount of PvP as well? Considering the Anarchy change that is going to be coming soon and we don't know what it is, I wouldn't get Anarchy first. I would probably get Izinagi's Burden first, just because the insane team play and also it can be fun in Crucible. Next, I would probably choose Thorn, because honestly, I just love Thorn in the Crucible. It feels really good to me in the Crucible. I would choose it over Last Word, over Ace of Spades for the Crucible, personally. The rounds pierce, they cause a ticking damage over time. It's fun. It's fun for me, okay? If I wasn't, I would maybe choose Lumina instead. Being able to heal my allies and buff their damage and buff my damage in PvE is really fun. It's a very comparable weapon to Thorn. They're basically tied together storyline wise. After that, I would probably get Jotun, because Jotun is super fun. It's a tracking fireball, basically. It says it's a fusion rifle, but it basically shoots giant fireballs out that track on to enemies, and it one-shots people in the Crucible from infinite distance. And in PvE, it just feels so good. It does tons of damage. It's good at ad clear and good damage, in my opinion. And it's just fun. It's a really unique weapon. Super fun. If you're a hunter player, I'd probably get Monarque next. It feels really good. Monarque is kind of like a bow version of Thorn because it also causes a damage over time, but it can spread it to the people nearby. Also, if you're a warlock and you stand in an empowering rift, this will just one-shot people. It's pretty crazy. Next is a little bit of a tie. If I was more of a PvP player, maybe I would get Ace of Spades next, because you also have your radar while you're aiming down sights, you have Firefly, killing and reloading gives you extra damage. It's really, really good. But otherwise, I would probably get bad Juju because kills refill the magazine, increase damage, and grant super energy, and that is really fun, and it feels really good. I just love guns that can just refill my magazine automatically and give me extra damage, give me super, I don't know. That's me. And then I guess next, depending on the Anarchy change, maybe I'd get Anarchy, and then maybe I would get Truth, and then I suppose the last word, and then Tarabah. There are a lot of people, especially controller users, that will probably want to get last word a bit sooner, but last word is basically exclusively a crucible weapon. You will almost never have a good reason to use the last word in PvE content. And Truth has 3 rockets in the magazine, which is pretty useful in PvE, and the tracking, but it doesn't do as much damage as other rockets because its rockets actually blow up before they impact, so it doesn't get the impact damage. Tarabah's a really cool, really fun gun, but honestly, I would not stress about it, honestly, until you've got everything else here. And if I was gonna make a tier list for these Forsaken weapons, this would kind of be how it would go. I feel like Izinagi's is pretty S tier. Thorn, Lumina, Ace, and Anarchy are in the tier A. I'm only not putting Anarchy in tier S because it is getting a change soon, and I assume it's just not gonna be the most overpowered thing like it currently is. And then in B, we've got lots of fun guns that have very specific uses, but I've got them in order that I would unlock them from left to right. And then we've got Tarabah here in C, the last one I would unlock, but it's still a fun gun. It's still good. Hopefully this was helpful. And if you liked the video, it would be so cool if you liked it. Like you pushed the like button. That would be so sweet.